Printer blues. Here's my mom's old printer. It's pretty darn old. She got her use out of it. It's been a very good printer for her. Kind of gave up the ghost a year ago, probably 2 years ago now. Got her another printer, more modern. Pretty good printer, but there's a detail, part of the holder that holds the cartridges in is broken. But I mean, it's so old that it has a parallel port on the back and a USB, you know, so it's not that old, but pretty rare to see a Centronics port anymore. Of course, we ran at USB. Nowadays, everything's wireless. I don't see a whole lot of screws on the outside of this thing. I think I just gotta tear into it. Well, here's some screws. Looks like a lot of it just pops apart. I'm gonna take these screws out and see how far I can go just popping stuff apart. Well, it looks like I struck out for today here. The screws are all security Torx. They're not quite Torx even. I think I might be able to get them out with a Torx though, but they're a security type head and I don't have the right tool for it. I may have the tool up north. I have got a couple different sets of oddball tips up there so I can tear this apart. I want to get the servo motors out. Power supply obviously sitting there. That'd be a great 30-watt power supply for LED. Some minor adaptation. Big plunk of ink came out of that thing. That's mainly the problem with this thing. It's all gunked up with dry lubricants. The rails are all sticky. That wasn't working too well. It could all be taken apart and cleaned. I don't know if it can be made Windows 10 compatible. I suppose probably. I did get my old Epson line printer, my 24-pin. I did find a way to get it printing, but it prints half a page offset. And I saw other people with the same comment were trying to get other printers working, and they ended up with the same result. I guess put a bookmark in it for now. This thing was built pretty tough. I ended up having to use the getting violent on it and wrecking it. Pulled screws out everywhere, but it still couldn't come apart. I guess if you knew which tabs to press where, you could have probably got it apart, but I eventually resorted to brute force. And here we have it down to bits. Nothing too fascinating. I don't know if there's any reuse to this board or the connector. I should probably just ditch it. It's got another sensor on it though. I might save some of these. I don't know. One stepper motor was three-wire motor, so I'm pretty sure it's a stepper. And then the other two motors were just DC motors. But they've got optical sensors and everything. They've got little discs and this little thin piece of tape here just to, I guess, for optical sensing. Stuff like that. There's another place where they had a little disc that rotated and the disc had encoding on it. And the print head stuff is kind of neat. Take the cartridges out. And a little driver board for the print heads, I guess. Oh, not a whole lot too terribly fascinating. And the next victim is going to be this old Epson. And I bought this for $5 and never used it. Way before Windows 10. This is probably more circa Windows XP. I just needed cartridges. I bought it at a computer store, a used printer. He only wanted $5 for it, so I thought, oh, what the heck, if nothing else, I'll trash it. Which is what I'm going to end up doing. It's not worth cleaning up and buying cartridges for. It's too old. Well, I've got the Epson down to pieces now, too. Not a whole lot interesting. Really dirty printer. I'm glad I didn't try to use it. Corrosion on some of these ribbon cables and stuff. Hit ink all over the place. He refilled the cartridges quite a bit and overfilled them. And they drizzled all over the place. It's kind of neat that you could refill them though. You can't do that with newer printers, and I'll discuss why in a minute here. Well, towards the end of the video. Interesting, I guess this is just for anti-fatigue, this silicone tubing. Maybe I should try to see that tubing. Wow, what is this? Weird. It's actually a pump of some sort? One of these deals where it presses on the tubing for pumping? Well, it's a slight pump. Huh. That's cute. This only had two motors in it. A stepper motor and a DC motor, where the other one had two DC motors and a stepper. But yeah, just like ink everywhere, corrosion everywhere. These big pads down here, kind of neat. What the heck that idea is about? A series of different pads. Pads on pads. Ooh, it's ink down in here, all collected. Really kind of odd. Huh. I wonder what the engineering here is all about. This power supply was all boxed up, but the same kind of deal. A lot of opto sensing. Another one of these ribbon type things. Descents as it goes across. This pump is interesting though. Real slight pump. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, but glad I didn't try to do anything with this printer. Way too funky. I guess I could have done that. And this is the glued in strip, and it's kind of corroded too. I don't know, this printer would have been trouble. I don't know if there's any use to keeping this. This is the stuff I'm going to keep right here. Maybe I'll sort through some of the mechanical doodads, see if there's any things I should keep for brackets. A lot of this type of action where they have a little blinder for the sensor in there. Probably paper out, I think. Spared for the moment is this old printer. It's a wide carriage printer, so I'm hesitant to break it down. It's an HP high quality DeskJet 1000C. I'll have to look it up, see if there's any way to get a XP handler for it, and what the specs are on it, to see if it's even worth trying to save the DPIs high enough even to compete with a modern printer. Probably not. It's a 20-year-old printer or more, so it's probably due to be scrapped too. Just don't have the heart at the moment. And here's my new economical printer. Ha ha. The ink didn't go far at all, and replacing the ink, it said $31 something worth of ink included with this remanufactured printer. Well, I can't replace that ink for less than $40 for the XL sized ink, and that's just actually not their biggest size ink even. Ink didn't last long at all. I sure didn't get hundreds of pages out of it, that's for sure. I didn't print all that much, and I'm already low on ink. I am not really out, so I can't really say how much more it'll go, you know. But the truth of new printers is you can't even re-ink the cartridges. Even if you put more ink in the cartridge, it won't work. The cartridge gives a serial number, and it records into your registry, into the registry of your computer, that number, and encoded in that number is how many pages the cartridge is good for. So you can put all the ink you want in the cartridge, it's not going to give you any more life. The number of pages is done. Actually, number of ink jet squirts or whatever, which is kind of a bummer because this thing turns on every now and then and kind of licks itself and turns itself off. Scares the heck out of me when it does it. I'll just be sitting here and all of a sudden it'll turn on and click for a while and shut off. So those all count for ink usage too in this system. So like every time the nozzle fires, it's one more click counted. You only get so many clicks. So if I was going to print a lot, I'd probably get the Epson with the tanks, you know, and go that way. I'm just so sick of this, spending more money for ink than I did for the printer. So if I see more of these remans come along, I'm going to do what a friend of mine was doing. He was buying printers, and instead of replacing the ink, he'd replace the whole printer, and I thought it was obscene, but kind of what it's down to at these days. It's extreme waste to do such a thing, though. I feel guilty wasting those old printers, much less new ones.